Your biggest competitor right now is not the company down the street. It's a company that doesn't exist yet, and it's being built by someone using AI tools you have access to, but are not deploying. That company will be leaner, faster, and cheaper than you, and it will be operational inside of 18 months. Welcome to the Digital Dilemma. My name is Nick Dreyfus. Now let's get into it. I want to start with a story about the big guys because there's a lesson in their failure that every small and mid-sized business owner needs to hear. Enterprise companies, the ones with 5,000 plus employees, 14 layers of management, and a 3-year IT roadmap, they're the ones that are losing the AI race right now. And they're losing it badly. Not because they don't have the budget. They have more budget than most of us are ever going to see. Not because they don't have access to the tools. They have enterprise licenses for absolutely everything. They're losing because they can't move. They have a workforce that's been doing the same job the same way for 20 plus years. They have an IT department that treats every new tool like a security threat first and an opportunity second. They have legal, compliance, HR, and procurement all in the same room together before a single new platform can get approved. By the time the decision is made, the tool has already been updated 3 times and their competitors have lapped them twice. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Agility is not a technology problem. It's a culture and talent problem. And enterprise companies have spent decades optimizing for stability instead of speed. That is not a strategy anymore. That's a liability. Now, if you own or run a small to mid-sized business, you have something the Fortune 500 would absolutely pay billions for right now. And that's that you can make a decision today and implement it tomorrow. That's an entire game in AI. Beta deployment beats the size of budget pretty much every single time. But here's where I have to direct you and be very careful, because this is the part most people get wrong. Having access to ChatGPT, it's not a strategy. Buying Copilot license for your team, it's also not an AI strategy. Telling your office manager, hey, play around with AI and see what sticks. It's absolutely not the AI strategy that's going to work right now. That's the equivalent of buying a commercial kitchen and handing the line cook a cookbook and saying, hey, buddy, figure it out. You might get a decent meal every once in a while, but you're never going to build a sustainable restaurant that people love and come to over and over again. You need strategy. And more importantly, you need someone who builds these strategies for a living. Now, let me ask you something. When your books got complicated, what did you do? You hired an accountant, not a bookkeeper, CPA, someone who understands the tax code, who could protect you, who could structure things in a way that kept more money in your pocket. And when you got your first employee, what'd you do? You found an HR resource, someone who understood employment law, who kept you out of legal trouble, and who made sure your handbook was not going to be in a lawsuit waiting to happen. So, why in the most single transformative technology shift of your business lifetime are you trying to figure it out yourself? Or worse, asking your current IT provider to handle it because they already handle your computers. This is the biggest mistake. And here's the reality. A traditional managed services provider is built to keep your systems running. That's fundamentally a different job than deploying AI in any way that actually moves your business forward. One is maintenance. The other is growth architecture. And you cannot ask the same person to do both. You need an AI consultant, someone who lives in this space, and someone who's tracking what AI, OpenAI, Anthropic, Google are doing every single week, day, and month, and translating that into the deployment plan that your specific business is going to be able to handle, including things like your workflow, your team, and most importantly, your industry. And not just a consultant, you need someone who's partnered with companies making the different and the biggest moves in this space right now. Because the difference between using AI and using AI securely with your intellectual property protected and your data not being fed into a public model is not a small difference. It is the difference between a competitive advantage and a catastrophic exposure. Now, before you sign anything, before you roll out anything, before you let anyone into your team and start using an AI tool, I want you to ask these 3 questions. Question 1, is it secure? And we're not talking just password protected secure. Where does your data go when your team does type into that tool? Is it being used to train a public model? Is your client list, your pricing, your proprietary process sitting in a server that you have zero visibility into? Security is not a checkbox. It's a foundational decision that has to be made before anything else. Now, question 2, who owns the output? Is this intellectual property question that most small business owners do not think about until it's too late? If your team is using an AI tool to write your proposals, draft your contracts, and build your training materials, who owns that content? What are the terms of service saying about your output? This is not a hypothetical legal question. This is an active business question that is going to change time and time and time again because of EULA and updates of these SaaS products. They're meant to do that. Question 3, does the person advising you actually deploy this stuff? Not just a consultant, not just a lecturer who does conferences about it, actually deploying it inside of real companies with real employees and real workflows. Because theory and implementation, they're 2 completely different skill sets. And in AI, the gap between someone who talks about it and someone who actually deploys it is absolutely enormous. Now, I want to close with something that should keep you up at night, just a little. Your next major competitor may not exist. They could be launching right now. A founder with the right AI stack, the right consultant, and the right team can build in 6 months what used to take 3 years. They can undercut your pricing because their overhead is a fraction of yours. They can respond to your customers faster, produce content faster, and analyze data faster. They can also adapt to market changes faster than any team you've ever competed against yet. And most importantly, these are typically Gen Z. If you're not hiring Gen Z into your company right now, helping all the rest of your team department leads figure out AI, you're going to be left in the dust. And they're coming for your market, not someday, but now. Business owners who understand this moment and act on it are going to build something absolutely remarkable in the next 3 years. The ones who wait, the ones who say, we're going to get into that AI thing eventually, you're going to look up one day and wonder what happened. Do not be the latter. Now, here's your action item for today. Just like last week's episode, go to i-net with 2 T's, i-nett.com and download our AI policy template. It's completely free, and it's the starting point for every business conversation we have with our clients. And it will show you exactly where your gaps are before you even spend a single dollar on any tool or hiring any consultant. Then, if you want to have a real conversation about where your business stands and what legitimate AI deployment strategy looks like for a company your size, book a call with us directly. It's on my LinkedIn profile. You can go right now and click on that link, book a phone call. It's also on our website. We're more than happy to help, even just basically consult. We can help you pick that vendor that's going to be a right fit for you. I am Nick Dreyfus. This is The Digital Dilemma. If this episode made you think, share it with another business owner who needs to hear it. I'll see you next week, and we'll be more into hot topics that are coming up in your world right now.